So I don't know about you, but we are definitely are procrastinators of what intimidates us. Like this channel, for instance. I don't know how many times I've posted on these polls that, oh my gosh, guys, next week I'll be posting this, and then I do not actually pitch up or show up. But that is something that I've had to teach myself when it comes to being consistent as a content creator. But I've got a few things that have stopped me along the way of content creation because I believe I was too obsessed with the aesthetics. I wanted everything to just be perfect and to actually come out the way that I imagine it. Talking about imagination, I stayed so long in the imagination phase and I never really got out. What I'm talking about might sound like a broken record, but you know what? There's a lesson I learned in, oh my god, what if I do something that other people have already started? I want to tell you more about that. Okay, so first things first, I really want to tell you what the segment is about. Speak Your Glory is just about sharing my thoughts and testimonies when it comes to just the mercies and the wonderful things that God has done in my life. And hopefully, it grows into us just becoming a community where we share just beautiful thoughts and testimonies of the goodness of God in our lives. So it's not necessarily like a podcast. One thing for sure that I have seen with myself when it comes to content creation is that I was always so obsessed with the aesthetics of everything, and I would obsess and fantasize and think about that. I would literally edit everything in my head, get so exhausted by the imagination that I end up just sitting down and not really executing what I had imagined. And I think that is one thing that derails us as maybe multi passionate people, or people that are constantly just have, just a whole lot of ideas and you really do not know which one to start with, right? Or you do not know how to go about actually executing these ideas. The other thing that stopped me is because you know what, I really wanted to be consistent on this channel, but again, I think I just never really made up my mind to just do it. I was comparing myself, looking at what others are doing, and also I was depending so much on the equipment that I did not have. Until one day I just knelt down and I thanked God for what I have right now. And I learned that it is in that moment that our eyes are opened to really the wonder that is around us. And in that way, we become much more resourceful. You know what I mean? Sometimes, as beginner content creators, or if you're in your beginning stages, there's maybe certain equipment that you may not be able to afford right now. I know I may be sounding like a broken record because a lot of people have spoken about this, but like I said, there's a huge lesson behind this whole thing as well, which has influenced the way that I create content to date, right? So, like, I think just being grateful and just thanking God for whatever it is that is in my hand has opened me up to, okay, in what other ways can I use it? Like, for instance, guys, using a phone, to be honest, a lot of people are like, oh, just start with your phone. But it is very challenging because you run out of space. Especially with like, because I'm using the Apple 13 mini, I run out of space a lot. I need to wait for another 15 minutes deleting things or sending things to my laptop. That in and of itself takes quite some time sometimes, and by the end of that process I'm already exhausted and to a certain extent a little demotivated. I'm teaching myself that I need to go beyond this hurdle. These hurdles are going to be there for me to know that they are possible to actually cross over. You know what I mean? Hurdles are not there for me to just stare at, but to find ways to cross over that. Am I going to go under? Am I going to jump on top? Am I going to go to the side? There are many ways in which you can actually cross the hurdle, but as long as you just cross that hurdle, and there's a lesson in the interim. So when you are recording with your phone or whatever it is that you have, I think for me, gratitude has opened my eyes to just the possibilities that I can do with whatever is in my hand, or the possibilities that I have rather with whatever is in my hand, and how to be resourceful with that. Yes, it's not everything that I would love, but I do not want what I don't have to stop me from getting to that place where I'm using what I have right now, where I'm basically using what I have right now to get to that place. But I do know that I'm not going to arrive to that place. I'm not going to arrive at that place where I have all my equipment empty handed. I'm going to definitely arrive there skilled. I'm going to arrive there with my own signature, having carved out my own signature to an extent where now all I'm doing is just giving myself a little bit of time of understanding the new tools that I'm working with. But my skills are sharpened. I've already built a community, you know what I mean, which is the most important thing for me as well. I've already built a community that knows who I am, what I'm about, with whatever it is that is at my disposal. So I want to encourage you today that you have just about enough to start. Yes, there are going to be hurdles, but at the end of those hurdles, you will know that you are definitely a winner. It is very important, and I think the principle that really taught me, I honestly believe that this principle I got from just the second Kings verse, right, where that lady asked the prophet for just assistance when it comes, I think it was Elijah, for her to just just come up with a solution as to like the debtors were coming and she doesn't have money, they're going to take her sons and all of that. But what did Elijah say? He said, go back, lock yourself, take whatever it is, the oil that is in your house. So at the end of the day, the oil is always in our disposal. I only pray that the Lord opens up your eyes to the oil that is in your hand and let him be the one that expands it, where we're constantly seeking his will and we're constantly seeking his face about the oil and the seed that is in our hand. Let us not miss that opportunity to see the seeds that are in our hand and the oil that is just in our hand that the Lord can use to expand our territories for his great glory. And then the thing of aesthetics, that's what I was so, because I wanted my content to look like the people that inspire me. But one thing that I think I missed is that they got there from a place of trial and error, from a place of constantly practicing, constantly posting. And the most important thing that I've been saying to myself is, even if I do not have the look and feel that I want right now, because I am a designer, I am going to focus on that a lot. It's okay. The aim is to grow towards it, is to grow forward, but never stop. And that's what I want to encourage you today. If you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I do not have the look and feel that I want, I don't have the vibe that I want, grow towards it. Try different things. That's the other thing that's going to help you kind of cultivate that, is to try and explore in terms of thumbnails, in terms of editing, watch what other people are doing and maybe try practice that on your own without really posting the video, but to see really if that's the kind of style that you'd like to go for in terms of how to edit sound, how to edit the footage, the storytelling, the pace, whatever it may be. And then in that way, as you are trying out different methods and skills and you just upscaling yourself, you will then start cultivating your own signature as a content creator. And that's what I mean by grow towards it, grow forward. That is my motto. The other thing that I think stopped me is, oh my gosh, what about creating content that's already oversaturated? Sometimes we stop ourselves because we feel like, oh my gosh, someone has already done it. What difference am I going to offer? I cannot tell you how many times I've seen comments that read, or maybe that say, oh my goodness, I've watched so many of these videos, but yours, and not to my video specifically, but I mean, yes, there have been people, especially when I spoke about teaching online, there have been people that said something alluding to that. But I've seen also on other channels that I am totally obsessed with or I love, where people are saying, oh my gosh, especially when it comes to tutorials, that, oh my goodness, I've seen videos, I've watched a whole lot of videos like this, but your explanation is better. And that's what sets us apart, guys. The way that we package our content. You can literally be saying the same thing that someone else is saying, but it's your delivery. It's who you are as a person, your energy, the way that your pace, the way that you edit your videos, just the entire package that people gravitate towards, and also just explaining from a point of love and just really giving. I know that I resonate with detail, so when someone, I really leave that video feeling like, man, I've learned a lot because of a heart of giving. That person actually just infused in their content creation, and you really leave that place educated. That's what I honestly resonate with. And you may find that you're also someone like that. So do not stop at, oh my goodness, someone else is already doing it. Yeah, they are doing it, but maybe the way that you could deliver it, that is exactly what you need to be like a magnet to people who need the way that you explain things, who are looking for that. Content creation is all about fishing or finding your community as well. It's about creating content that answers, that solves a solution, or maybe you just documenting your life, but the way in which you document it, someone will resonate with that. So we need to continue and not stop. And that's just what I'm learning. And the last thing that I'm also learning is to be loud about what we do and to not be afraid. I used to feel like, oh my gosh, I don't want to irritate people, especially people on Instagram. What I've learned is that the people that maybe follow us on Instagram are not, especially it starts off as friends, right? It's not everybody that maybe will resonate with what you're doing, but the more that you post, the more that you're becoming a magnet for the people that need the type of content that you're doing. So it's important for you to be loud. It's important for us to be visible. It's important for us to also stick to topics that we are passionate about and that we wouldn't mind doing over and over again. In as much as we do know that the process of content creation requires a lot of time and effort, it is work, and that's something that I also need to just wrap my head around as well, is that this is actually work. I mean, right now it's maybe not paying me, but I'm doing other things that can kind of compensate for that, where I can afford to create content with no expectation of finances, but with the aim of getting some monetary exchange from it as well. You know what I mean? Because it is a side hustle that I'd like to build into a more lucrative kind of income stream. You know what I mean? So with that being said, it is important for us to just know what it is that we want to talk about, and do not be afraid to speak about the things that they really tug at your heart. You know what I mean? Create content about that, because we never know who needs that. So that is what I really wanted to talk to you guys about, to just allow God to expand the seed and the oil that is in your avenue, that is just in your disposal, and seek his face. And he, as it says in Proverbs 16 verse 3, and also Proverbs 3 verse 4 to 5, just speaks about verse 3 to 5, it just speaks about us submitting whatever it is to God. Like, let us submit to God everything that we do, that in everything that we do, we are doing it under the submission of God. And in that way, we will not only move towards his will for us, but we will move more towards who he has called us to be, where we are qualified to be, and how, with the knowledge of how we're meant, and also knowing how we're meant to operate and function in those spaces that we end up occupying. So with that being said, guys, I will see you in the next episode of Speak Your Glory, and I do pray and hope that you get the courage to get up, use what you have, and see God expanded in accordance to his will. I'll see you guys next time.